This letter that was sent to the mosque in Edmonton here, which was said, don't come here. This is our land. Go back to wherever you came from and stuff. And so yeah, that just made me really mad and like made me want to respond even like worse. And yeah, I thought it'd be kind of funny, but it's not how it went down. And yeah, that's why I'm here.
Breaking news today that has gone unreported for a month, the United Conservative Party of Alberta has received a bomb threat from Abdul Anas Habash. Habash has been criminally charged with making the bomb threat and was in court last Friday, where I was able to sit down with him, and he freely confessed to me to committing the crime. Amongst other revelations, he told us that he actually blamed Rachel Notley and the NDP for radicalizing him. One day prior to his bomb threat, a mosque in Edmonton was sent a letter that promoted white supremacy. Nobody knows who sent the letter, but it proudly boasted the United Conservative Party logo, exactly the last thing any party supporter would put on such a repulsive letter. The letter had all the hallmarks of a hoax. Edmonton is Canada's capital for hate crime hoaxes, actually, such as when the man delivering white supremacist flyers to Edmonton homes was caught red-handed by a doorbell camera, and you guessed it, he turned out to be African American. As you'd expect, the mainstream media sensationalized the mosque letter, and they were certain that it was the last nail in Jason Kenney's coffin. They ran the story just like they ran the flyer story. But then something happened that was very, very real. The mosque received a letter on February 6th, and on February 7th, the United Conservative Party received a bomb threat. I would show you a picture of a headline with the bomb threat in it, but there just isn't any. The mainstream media didn't report on it. Of course, it didn't matter that the UCP clearly didn't have a hand in what looked like a blatant false flag attempt. It was a real bomb threat, and the United Conservative Party, its staff, and Alberta's political system were terrorized. A terrorist doesn't have to blow you up to be a terrorist. Intimidation is the occupational requirement for a terrorist, political intimidation. Habash has been charged with one count of violating Section 264.1(a) of the Canadian Criminal Code. Amazingly, he went to the Edmonton courthouse with his father in an attempt to retrieve his cell phone and laptop. The request was denied after a conversation with the Crown prosecutor. The mainstream media was hysterical over the threatening letter sent to the Edmonton Mosque, but silent about the UCP bomb threat. One put lives at risk, perhaps even the life of the next Premier of Alberta. The other was revolting mean, but it was perfect fodder for left-wing hysterics. I thought it was going to be hard to interview Habash, that he would hide from the cameras or deny that he did it. I waited outside the courthouse in the freezing cold to scrum Habash, just like I did with the terrorist Omar Khadr. Of course, there was no other media there. Instead, Habash let me sit down with him, actually, for an interview. First, I asked him what the motivation was for the bomb threat. I understand you were just seen in court today. Can you explain what your motivation was for sending the threat to the United Conservative Party?
Well, it all started when I was just browsing through my stories, my friends' Snapchat stories, and I seen one fellow Muslim put in this letter that was sent to the mosque in Edmonton here, which was said, don't come here. This is our land. Go back to wherever you came from and stuff. And so yeah, that just made me really mad and like made me want to respond even like worse. And yeah, I thought it'd be kind of funny, but it's not how it went down. And yeah, that's why I'm here.
Do you regret?
I definitely regret it, and I definitely feel like really apologetic about it. And like it's really something stupid and a teenager would do without even thinking about the next consequences and stuff.
Terrorism, it's just child's play. I get what motivated him here. It was the letter. He could have denounced the letter. He could have worked to build bridges of harmony in the community. He could have volunteered on an NDP campaign even. But instead, his instinctive response to this letter was to terrorize and to threaten violence. Curiously, Habash blamed Premier Rachel Notley herself. Do you think that the rhetoric that the NDP have been spinning in terms of how racist Jason Kenney is, every NDP cabinet minister has been saying how racist and scary the United Conservative Party is. Do you think that that plays a part in mobilizing people like you to do what you did?
Yeah, I think that plays a big part, yeah. And that also, for the opposite side as well, this is what motivates them to write. This is our leader, and we're going to put his name in there. We're going to say this and that. I honestly don't know what Jason Kenney's true motivations are, but I think I think that it can, but he also said that this whoever wrote this mail has nothing to do with me, right? And he said, yeah, he's not like that person. I think that these parties they're trying to make it look like they are racist people, but it's
The
not.
NDP are trying to make it
Yeah,
look like.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, it's somebody else obviously who wrote that letter, and they're trying to make it look like he is that person.
So the NDP are at fault, what you saying?
I think so. Yeah.
It's not surprising that a terrorist refuses to take responsibility for his own threats of violence. It is somewhat surprising that he chose to blame Premier Notley and the NDP for radicalizing him. It's not hard to see why, I suppose. His family is an avid consumer of Rachel Notley and Justin Trudeau propaganda. Judging by his mother's Facebook page, the Habash family seems to be personal fans of Iqra M103 Khalid, Justin Trudeau's anti-Islamophobia spokesperson. They seem to be pleased with Justin Trudeau's progress on the Syrian refugee file, and for some reason they have taken a keen interest in the Liberal Minister of Border Security. The children, including Abdul Habash, who wrote the bomb threat to the United Conservative Party, received Canadian citizenship from Jason Kenney's own Conservative government in 2015 when they came to Canada from Syria. If found guilty of an indictable offence, Abdul, having sent these threats to the United Conservative Party, will be facing jail time. But if the court is as nonchalant about this terrorist act as the media is, as the United Conservative Party themselves, and as Abdul is, it's more likely that he'll be given a slap on the wrist and sent back out into the community. For the Rebel.media, this is Keean Bexte. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed our coverage. If you did, if you found it informative, please be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter @economic. That's with a 3. There you'll stay up to date with the other side of the story in Alberta, the side of the story that the mainstream media clearly doesn't want you to hear.